Welcome to the Echoes of Alchemy with Lotus Sound podcast. My name is Jay Robinson, and I'm coming to you from Lotus Sound Studio in beautiful downtown Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, where we provide sound baths, sound training, kirtan, wellness day retreats, and more. We just launched our free Planetary Pulse Unlock Your Sonic Archetype quiz, where you can discover what planetary energy and musical mode formula you are most resonating with right now. After the podcast, be sure to head over to our website, lotussound.ca, to find your sonic cosmic archetype. As grounded, passionate, and dedicated students of ancient and modern sound practices, our team at Lotus Sound supports those looking to amplify their intuition, inner power, and purpose with our one-of-a-kind, unplugged gatherings and sound bath artistry training. Our mission is to inspire a holistically infused lifestyle, utilizing natural, highly effective, and accessible sound wellness practices, and to contribute to the health, happiness, and spirit of our community. On our podcast, we will talk all things sound, from frequencies to deep dives on instruments and philosophy. We will share our inspiration and interesting stories along the way. Today's guest is a woman who has saved my life more than twice. She is the most supportive and giving human being I've ever known, my partner in crime, and the mother of our beautiful daughter, Sky, Justine Sanderson. Justine is a sixth-generation born and raised Collingwood native. She has Indigenous Mi'kmaq roots and has helped thousands of clients shift from self-consciousness to sound consciousness on her journey as a sound healer and musician. Justine and I have been partners for 26 years, and we've been playing music together since the late 1990s. Our passion for sound as a meditative tool and as sacred medicine continues to drive us to learn, share, and heal with our community. I hope you will enjoy this podcast. Be sure to follow, rate, and share. And we welcome you to become your most authentic, grounded, and loving self by embracing the practice of sound with us. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Echoes of Alchemy podcast. My name is Jay, and I have a very, very special guest with me today, our first guest on the Echoes of Alchemy podcast, the lovely and beautiful Justine Sanderson, and my partner of 26 years and co-owner of Lotus Sound. So we're going to talk with Justine today a bit about her story, her journey, what brought her to sound healing, and what continues to inspire her as we move forward into sound trainings and retreats and all of the other activities and workshops that we offer at Lotus Sound. So welcome, Justine.
Well, thanks for having me, Jay. So excited to be the first guest.
Have a nice tea. We've got our tea here. We're going to just chat, and it's going to be really nice to share these insights and these in this type of way that we haven't yet. So how do you think, or how do you feel that your connection to the community for your whole life, having been born and raised here, how do you feel that your connection to this area ties into and influences what you do with sound healing and what you do at Lotus Sound?
Well, it definitely has the nature itself around here, the vibration of the town of Collingwood seems to be something very special. Even when we do our weekly singing bowl circles down at the gathering circle behind McDonald's, when we gather together to play our singing bowls and have that community offering for peace and togetherness and love, I always feel like I can feel the earth breathing. I can see its breath when I'm there. And I just feel very connected to the land here. And I think that really nature has given me so much of my meditation time and healing spaces. Nature and music, that they're so connected. The sound of the waves, the birds, the leaves, the wind moving through the leaves. It really comes into play into the sound baths and sound experiences.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And your connection to the land, and you do have Indigenous heritage in your background. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. That's my mother's side of the family. We are Mi'kmaq from the East Coast, and our grandpa used to, or Grampy, we lovingly called him, would take us around even their property and, tell us how to find water running or how to make cups or bowls out of birch bark and things like that. So I don't know, it's another level and layer of connection and appreciation to this earth and to everyone.
So what drew you to the field of sound healing? What started your journey? Do you remember?
Well, I remember having a great appreciation for music at a young age and how it can impact and influence our lives and our relationships. Sound healing itself would have come through grief, I guess, after my father passed, and then 4 years later, my mom. Both were quite unexpected and somewhat quick. So there wasn't really grieving time, or I didn't know how to process the grief. And, instinctively, we started, looking into music for healing. We had spent, or I had been to many concerts over my life when I maybe wasn't in the best place, and had great impact and just, big releases at these concerts, just dancing and really finding that appreciation for music, helping you release things without having to put the words to it or having to explain it to someone. So after Mom passed, my sister and I actually took our Reiki training. So we went through the levels of Reiki. Yeah, and found a lot of benefit in that. And it was quite helpful in sort of moving through some feelings or just actually feeling a little uplifted. And I wanted more, to find more. And going back to all of the years of having these great experiences at concerts and festivals and, looking for ways to have this music maybe without the party scene a little bit. So it was a little bit more healthier of a way to experience some release.
Nice. And do you think that your parents passing from health issues, do you think that might have fueled a part of your inspiration to help others in a natural way, which is what sound healing really is? It's a painless, natural, ancient form of medicine. Do you think that might have fueled your journey up till now as well?
Yeah, well, my dad was 50 when he died. First year, for those that don't know, Jay's father has also passed, and we saw that happen when he was 56, and then my dad at 50, and then my mom, she liked to have a little bit of a younger man, so she was in her 60s when she passed a few years later. And so seeing our parents pass through life at such a young age did definitely inspire ways to think of, like, how can we do better? Maybe how can we have less stress? How can we have more, flow and beauty, grace in our lives? And then, of course, there was another point, which I don't think I brought up earlier, was seeing David Hickey play the gongs at the Collingwood Rock Shop, the gongs and the crystal bowls, and remembering that feeling. So that feeling, or that remembrance of that feeling, came back too. So sort of searching for that again, which wasn't really offered in our community. So
it was new to me.
Yeah. And so it was inspiring.
For sure. And that freedom that David plays with. If you're not familiar, David Hickey is a sound bather. I guess he does sound baths or journeys. He calls them the crystal journey. And he plays 8 gongs or more, and he's really, really awesome. He does just such great work. Very meditative, very improvisational, and it's very, very inspiring for sure.
And the extra layer of inspiration of, we both
He's
really liked the Grateful Dead. So that was like
5 gold stars.
Yeah,
for David Hickey. So when you're interested in sound healing, you found a passion for it. You've got your inspiration. You did some schooling. Can you speak a bit about your year study of sound?
Yeah, it was.
A bit about that.
I think it was even longer than a year, actually, about 18 months. I caught the last program, actually. It was with the Globe Institute in California, and I mean, they are still offering programs. The program that I took is no longer available, and I feel, again, that was another blessing to have caught it when I did. We learned about how different things affect you and different notes, and, found our home notes. There's a lot of learning about ourselves as well. So, yeah, the science and sound it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure. And so with that intensive 18-month intensive, are components that you learned or that you were introduced to during that time, are those things that you incorporate in the sound trainings or the things that are offered at Lotus Sound? How does that stuff inform, or your education in that way inform what you're doing?
Oh, it definitely, it has a great impact on our sound trainings, absolutely, because I got to experience so much. And so now I kind of get to pick through, this was necessary for me. This isn't necessary for what I'm offering. Or for what other people interested in doing sound baths or private sessions. I get to sort of pick through my year and a half of classes and share what has had the most impact on my sessions and what information has made this journey easier to share with people.
Right. And that would obviously, it's also all informed by all of your experience from your private sessions. You've done probably 1,000 private sound healing sessions, maybe.
Yeah, probably
1,000
yeah.
Sound baths, probably 500, 600, 700 sound baths. So all of this experience, right? You've actually, you're not just necessarily speaking from things that were passed to you as knowledge. You've actually incorporated and you've experienced these things and figured out how they work for you and the people that you work with too, right? So this experience that you've had from the schooling is just the beginning, and that led to all of your sessions and all of the experience you've gained through actual one-on-one or group.
Yeah, definitely practicing the offerings, practicing, the instruments that we play, practicing chanting or singing and using our voice. And the more bodies you kind of work with, you see these patterns because, Spirit speaks to us in a way that we understand. Different things can mean different things to people. One example I always love to use is a cross. I could see a cross, and that could be, to me, my grandma. To someone else, that could be death. It could be religion. Yeah. It could be a site that they've been to before. So I really believe that we have to keep, practicing and working on so many different people so we know how Spirit speaks to us, so we can hear and understand and tune in with our knowing, with our intuition.
For your client.
For
your client.
Our client, yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So you and I, we used to do, we still occasionally do, but we're mainly based just at the studio in Collingwood. But we used to travel quite a bit and do sound baths. We'd go to yoga studios all over the place, and we were kind of like traveling sound bath musicians. Is there any story that kind of sticks out in your mind that you'd like to share? Just because we were kind of like, cruising in the car, loading it up. We had so much gear, we could barely see out the windows. And
in the beginning, in the Ford Focus, we couldn't even fit in. I was like the instruments were under me. I think my legs were up in the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a tight squeeze, that one.
The one time we drove back from one local studio, and I couldn't actually see right. I shouldn't have driven at all, but it was like a gong or something. It was like I couldn't actually see. It was pretty dangerous.
Opening the door and falling out.
Is there maybe any interesting spot, any moment or person that you met that kind of jumps out, or regular recurring theme from those times of traveling around?
Well, I did love the road trips, and it was so special to play in so many different places, to hear the different sounds of the different rooms, and each community or yoga studio, because typically we played in yoga studios because they're big open rooms, so they're great venues for this for a number of reasons. It's also usually a community that's open-minded and wants to connect to themselves. But it's seeing how each community sort of was together in the experience was really cool. The first time we played in the Salt Cave, I really loved that. I feel like I had meditated the whole time as well. And just, it felt so relaxing. I mean, it's always relaxing, but there was just something. But then finding all the salt in every little crack and crevice of the instruments afterwards was fun.
Yeah, it was fun to find little pieces of it like months later as a memory. Find a little piece of rock salt.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's not familiar, what Justine's talking about is a Himalayan salt cave. And whether it's there or not, I'm not sure. But the one that we played at was in Owen Sound at Kokoro, and which isn't there anymore, to my knowledge. But it's basically this giant room that's been made completely of Himalayan salt. So the floor is Himalayan salt, the walls, everything. And then they infuse the air with Himalayan salt particles, and it like opens your lungs up. So we would do these sound baths in this Himalayan salt cave with our didgeridoo, sitar, and gongs. And it was very, very interesting. I think the one we did was the one salt cave one that jumps out at me, or the person, is the dancer. We had someone dance.
Oh, yeah.
They were dancing in the salt cave at the sound bath. And usually a sound bath, for anyone that's not sure, a sound bath is a meditation typically where you lie down with, an eye pillow on and blankets, and you're essentially almost asleep. Sometimes you are asleep. And we had one lady who was dancing, that was a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, literally, it's been once in our time. I mean, we have people dance at other offerings, but not usually the sound journeys. I do also remember doing the, I have two stories. One was when we played at that retreat, and it was at the flower farm.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That was so beautiful.
Wildflowers.
I just remember, it was wildflowers. And I just remember sitting there being like, oh, it's so beautiful, like, pinch me. Mm-hmm. And then the other one, of course, was the town of Wasaga Beach and Free Spirit Tours, which is like an eco-adventure company, put on a yearly event, Rock in the River. And Jay and I
still do.
Oh, yeah, they still do. Yeah. We'll be at it this summer, August 10th.
That's right.
And, Jay and I always play on the same corner of the river. 25 kayakers or boaters go by, and you play while they're sort of coming up, and they hang out for a bit. But last year there was, we're waiting for the next flotilla to come by, and Jay starts taking, like, when you started doing the sky, taking a video. I think you were videoing, yeah, you were videoing the sky because the clouds looked a little ominous.
It was wild.
Yeah. And then we were like, whoa, look at the clouds coming over. And then you hear beep, beep, and it's the tornado warning coming over our cell phones, to then seconds later, the boats are coming around because they're hopping out to get offshore. And moments later, the wind came and took our tent that we were sitting, took it right in the river. And, but it was just like the chain of, oh, look at
really
those
quick.
clouds, beep, the tornado, shoot, the tents. And then a couple of the kayakers came over and
Yeah,
helped us.
Marissa came over and helped us.
Yeah, and helped us dig that out. So
yeah, that was wild.
yeah,
that was a good one. I still have that video too. Yeah, it was nice. So that's a annual event. I don't think you can sign up yet this year.
Not yet. No.
But soon. So watch for that if that sounds interesting. Rock in the river. And yeah, you're floating in kayak groups, and there's musicians every like half mile kind of thing. It's really cool. Whole day events. We really love it.
Do I get to ask you if you have one that stands out?
You can.
Yeah.
So to me, I think we really like, these road trips where it's a mission. You load all the stuff in the vehicle, you go, you meet new people. It's new people everywhere you go, which is really, really neat. It's nice to play for people that you've never met too, because there's no expectations on either side. So it's really, really interesting.
But we laugh sometimes when we talk about when we first started out, because we think of the things that we used to bring, like 50-pound crystal. Well, they weren't 50 pounds. Probably the box of them was 60 pounds of crystals or something for aesthetic. And
we used to lug 30 pounds, Thunder Bay amethyst chunk, giant Arkansas quartz, and we like to set up.
We wanted people to look at the crystals instead of us.
please don't look at it.
Yeah. But although we say about the aesthetics are part of the experience, and a good light, some cool lighting.
Cool lighting can go a long way.
Yeah.
Don't lug your crystals to your stone baths. You don't need to. It's okay. So what's you've been in Collingwood your whole life.
Yeah.
And you've been serving Collingwood with sound healing and the events and the community events that you're a part of and that you organize. What keeps you here? What is your what keeps you motivated and inspired specifically to offer what you do in this and for this community?
It's my home, and I care about the land here. I care about the community. I mean, we're a growing community, so there's a lot of people, of course, that I don't know and they don't know me, but I care that we still keep that, small community vibe where, people are kind to one another. And I feel like if I can offer some peace for people, some joy, it'll help to contribute to the overall feeling of the community. And like we always talk about, you don't know how you're affecting someone, even just walking by them and giving a little smile, or, it's really small things that we can do. So being able to offer community gatherings, of course, some things are charged. We keep our prices very fair. But we do also have, we offer kirtan by donation. So it's open to anyone to come and chant with us. And every Sunday, we've been 6 years at the Awan Gathering place.
Yeah.
And that's a completely free community event every Sunday through the summer. This will be our 6th year. And that's been beautiful to watch it grow and to see who comes. And that's I've seen a lot of people meet people there. Yeah. That's been a community builder for sure. A lot of people just moving to town, walking by the park, seeing it happening and joining in. I think there's been a lot of connections made there. And I would say there's been some really great friendships created in that space.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's amazing. So how do you stay evolve, or how does your evolutionary process work with your offerings? Like, how are you because you're always learning new things, right?
Mm-hmm.
With each experience and from people, from your teachers and from offering and from your clients. How does your evolutionary kind of process work? Like, do you add new instruments regularly? Are you solid with what you use? How do you flow in that way when it comes to innovating your offerings? Is there a process, or is it all?
Well, I don't think there's so much a process. I think it's a more of an inspiration. Just playing around with different things. I mean, there's a few staples, like the didgeridoo is pretty staple for me. Gongs are definitely staple. The voice is the most consistent because it's with me whenever I need it, and I don't have to unpack it from the bag. Here it is, and it's a very powerful tool. And the more and more I play with my voice and play with toning, the more and more I want to. So a lot of things are a feeling. Like Jay and I will set up the stage full of instruments, and we know we don't have to play it. We don't have to play this drum. We don't have to play this rattle. We don't have to play this gong. But it's there if we feel inspired to. And so I think really we're pretty open. And I'm also inspired by the jam band music that I used to listen to. Somehow it interweaves and intermingles into all aspects. It's just that openness and
spirit. Right? There's a lot of spirit to a lot of that music. Grateful Dead, Fish, all those guys. A lot of spirit and adventure and exploration. There's a lot of exploration with sound baths too. Yeah, totally ties in. So you speak about, and I've heard you speak about it a number of times, shifting from self-consciousness to sound consciousness. Can you unpack that a little bit? Can you explain what that means to you and what that's all about?
Sure. I guess I have been sort of in this, would you call that, would that be an elevator pitch or
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. But
do they still have those?
I don't know. Just one of those thoughts of like, how can you describe what you do in so little time? Because sound is so expansive and exploratory and imaginative and creative and profound. It's hard to explain in a few moments. So I had this thought of shifting from self-consciousness. So, that maybe that inner critic, all of our limitations coming in, our judgments about ourselves, how we're worried about other people would perceive us. That's what I would call when we're in self-consciousness. So I used to say, I'm helping people shift from self-consciousness to sound consciousness, where we're inviting the sounds to come through us, to bring flow, to bring harmony into the bodies, to bring spaciousness, to bring quiet so that we can hear ourselves. And that really helps to better all of our relationships. They always say, 80, I guess what I'm going to say, they always say I should know the exact percentage, but it is said that probably, 85% of the people, but I would guess it's probably higher than that, feel like they are unheard. But it's also as equally important to show up and listen for other people as well. So as much as we're feeling unheard, we also need to be there and witness and show up for people listening. And sound has really helped improve the skills and the muscles of deep listening. And I want to listen to people in a different way than I wanted to before.
So you've worked with a lot of clients over your years as a sound healer, and with all of the interactions with teachers and other people that are in the industry too, are there any like common misconceptions that you come across when it's clients or people coming to your events in regards to like what sound healing is or what they're going to get from it or that kind of thing? Any misconceptions?
Yeah. Well, the misconceptions have changed over the years, because for sure in the beginning, we used to get a lot of like, people really thought it involved water.
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah. They show up with the water wings.
yeah,
a
their
towel.
water wings, a towel,
Yeah.
which, you know, maybe we don't call everything a sound bath anymore. Maybe it's a sound meditation, sound journey. And the other one is I'm coming once, and it's fixing everything. Now, sound journeys, sound baths, they can be a little bit different. People are showing up for all different reasons. It could be simply an experience. So that works in one time. But if you're really wanting to have meaningful change that sticks, it is a meditation. It's a practice like anything else. So just like you go to more than one yoga class if you want to feel the physicalness of yoga having an impact on your body and your mind. You would, if you want to be a singer, you're going to practice singing.
Yeah.
What are you going to say? Yeah. So that is the one thing is, you know, I'm in pain. I'm showing up here. I want it to be gone. Or I feel anxiety. I'm coming here. It'll be gone. Now, these feelings can be gone for some time while you're in the experience, but it can actually be gone possibly forever if you decide to do these things as a practice and show up for yourself over and over again. And each time will be different. Each time will be impactful. Not every time is going to be comfortable, but it will in the long run and have an impact.
So if you were to share what your most rewarding moment has been in sound healing or with sound baths or this journey that you're on, your most rewarding moment, what would it be? Or one of? I'm sure there's been many.
That is a tricky one. People have had, sound holds our memories, our thoughts. It's the vibration that holds a lot of these things in the imprint of us. And it is also these vibrations that release. So, sometimes people have memories, and people have had some memories that were buried so deep that even though they forgot about these, basically they were traumatic occurrences. Yeah. They've blocked these out of their memory as a way of protecting themselves. It was too overwhelming. They were too young to deal with any of these things. And I've had a lot of people remember while they were on the table receiving their private session, memories come up and a lot of answers that they always kind of wondered about. And then that led to them continuing. They would continue with me with the sound, but, to also get help from the other areas and really seeing big changes in some people's lives. And I don't know if they hadn't come, maybe those memories never would have arisen, and they had this darkness that they never understood, or thinking something was wrong with them and they didn't know why. I know the sound is what brought that to them. So either maybe they would have had many more years of this kind of silent suffering, or so maybe it's not a joyous thing, but I do feel like I've really seen people really be helped through music.
It's amazing. And by other areas of help, you mean like therapy? Yeah. Like licensed therapy, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Once they know like what it is, finding the right help. So yeah, right. Absolutely. Sound is great accompaniment with going to like talk therapy or psychotherapist, just to different things. And, some people would also find some other modalities as well, like maybe hypnotherapy to remember even more. But really seeing it was giving them different ways to find the help they need.
Right. And so the other thing too, for listeners, is that Justine's sessions, she's talking basically about her private sessions. So these are private sound healing sessions with clients. And so your sessions they're all acoustic. All of the instruments are acoustic. You're not using technology in the way that we would think about it today. Although these things are all technologies of their own, but it's acoustic, it's organic. Yeah. Do you have any, what are your thoughts in a really kind of broad way on like technology or machine healing?
Yeah, so we're seeing that come out more and more. And definitely there's benefit for, if people are feeling like they're receiving benefit, and then they are, if they think it's good for them and
they're seeing results.
That's what it is. Working on so many different people's bodies, I got to really learn about the uniqueness of each person and hearing perhaps their sounds in a different way. Machine's not going to pick that up. And so I get to tailor, my session, or to change it towards whatever music was happening in that moment, what their sounds their body was making or wanting to express in that moment. So I could change it. Like, I don't have a plan or a set that I'm about to play. So really I'm listening. It's being tailored to their needs in the moment, and that changes from moment to moment.
Intuition component, yeah.
And I do believe like human connection is a big piece, especially, a lot of people are showing up with a lack of support or so having another human, feeling the energy passing through us both is it's a big piece of it. And also, again, coming back to that uniqueness, because like I believe, like so many others, that we all have our own sound. Our body makes our own song. My liver is going to sound different than your liver, or my adrenals may be screaming while someone else's are sleeping. There's all different sounds, and so it's interesting just to think about how the machines are programmed. But definitely, I have also seen people benefit from it. I do love, one of my friends gave sort of I guess it would be called an analogy, where she said she sort of saw a lot of these machines like taking vitamin.
The machines, just to clarify, are like tone generator, vibrational technology that's giving you healing frequencies, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Where you're, programming this frequency for my gallbladder. Right. I'm sure it could be in that area, right? But the intention is a big piece in all of this. We can manipulate sound with intention. Right. Again, a machine wouldn't be doing that as well. But so, yes, back to my friend said she saw sort of these machines creating frequencies for people. Like one, she said, who's programming them? We have to trust whoever's programming them. And secondly, she also said she saw it sort of like taking a supplement or a vitamin instead of getting it from the Whole Foods. And I thought that was a great way of seeing it, because there's benefits to both still.
But, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if you had to pick like the funniest moment or the most kind of hilarious thing that's happened during or before and after one of your sessions or one of our sound baths, what comes to mind? Is there any story?
Yeah, well, we don't have too many really funny moments during a sound bath.
That is true.
Yeah.
We're pretty serious.
Yeah, we're pretty serious. because spirituality is serious. No.
Right. Be serious.
Yeah, the one sound bath that we were offering at the yurt when we were playing, and Jay or I will always ask people to shut their phones off, or to put them on silent. We used to always say, put your phones on silent. Well, nowadays, a lot of things still come through on silent. So Jay and I were playing the gongs, and our yurt was inside of a little warehouse space. So all of a sudden we could hear like an alarm going off, and we're like, oh, somebody didn't put their phone off. Oh, well, we'll just try and play along with it. But then it kept going and going.
It don't stop.
Yeah, it was never going to stop. So it's like, how long can we play this for? We were trying to avoid leaving the yurt because the door was creaky, and it was a very small space, and it's very obvious when someone leaves the yurt. So Jay had to get up and go out and go through. Of course, it's probably all ladies.
Through everybody's purses.
Go through everyone's purse to try and find this phone. And he finds the phone, and you take it out, and it was an alarm to remind them to breathe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more ironic, I guess, that as they were at their sound meditation, here's their alarm going off, like telling them to relax and breathe. So
yeah, so that's a good tip too for anybody that does sound baths or sessions. You want to encourage the people attending to actually power their phones down, because alarms and a couple other things will still go off even if it's on silent. So yeah, we learned the hard way. That was a funny one. Okay, this has been real fun. We are almost at a time. It's been so cool to sit down here in the basement and interview you. Woo-hoo. This has been amazing. But we'll get you to play Didgeridoo to play the podcast out. But before we do that, where can people find you? Can they find your music online? Sound baths, private sessions? Where do people find you?
Yeah, I would start first with our website, lotussound.ca. Our events and upcoming sound trainings are there. And for our music, Jay and I have a few albums under Lotus Sound. So on Spotify, you can look up Justine Sanderson.
Yeah. Or Apple Music or wherever.
Or Apple Music. And then if you're interested in a private session, I'm offering them Tuesdays at Everlove, a yoga studio in town. And that is tryeverlove.com under healing.
Yes, of course. Okay, so we'll just get you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. You. And let's hear some didgeridoo. And thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time. Be sure to rate and share. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Echoes of Alchemy with Lotus Sound. Be sure to follow, rate, and share. And if you'd like to unlock your sonic cosmic archetype, head over to our website, lotussound.ca, and fill in our free Planetary Pulse quiz. If you're interested in our sound training sessions, we have 3-day sound immersions on the calendar. We've got a session in May that's sold out, and we've got a 3-day sound immersion, deep dive into sound bath artistry, open for registration now for August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And you can learn all about that as well on our website, lotussound.ca. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you soon.